Hey man, X salute, bro. What's up, bro? We gonna talk about this. We gonna cook today or tonight. Excuse me. We gonna cook tonight a little bit on this topic. The NBA Finals matchup is set. The Miami Heat versus the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals. I'm not gonna give you a breakdown of who I think is gonna win the series. I want to talk about a specific topic that's on my mind. Leading into this finals matchup. Um, Los Angeles Lakers beat the Denver Nuggets last night to reach their first finals appearance since 2010. Miami Heat won tonight against the Boston Celtics, going back to the finals since 2014. Now we're gonna talk about LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers and how much pressure are the Los Angeles Lakers under to win this year's NBA championship, looking at the matchup that they have going up against the Miami Heat, the upstart Miami Heat team. Uh, this is LeBron James's 10th finals appearance. And you look at the matchups that LeBron James had to go up against in the NBA Finals. First, when he went to the NBA Finals in 2007, his first appearance was against the San Antonio Spurs team with Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan, all in their prime. And a lot of people, they gave LeBron James a pass for, not, winning the NBA Finals. He was 22, 23 years old at the time, first Finals appearance. A lot of people thought they weren't even supposed to be there. They beat the veteran Detroit Pistons in the conference finals. But a lot of people thought that was an upset, at that time, beating them to even get to the NBA Finals. So for them making it to the NBA Finals, that was a huge accomplishment on their part. A lot of the other finals appearances after his first stint when he was in Cleveland for the first 7 years of his career. He went to the Miami Heat in all season of 2010 to go to South Beach to pair up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in the Miami Heat, going to the finals 4 straight times, winning twice, losing twice. His first matchup in the finals was against the 2010 Dallas Mavericks team. That a lot of people felt that the Miami Heat should beat them probably no less, maybe 5, maybe pushing to 6 games at the most. And we all know how that turned out. Dallas Mavericks upset the apple cart in defeating the Miami Heat first getting together. Their His third matchup was against the Oklahoma City Thunder, a very young, up-and-coming team with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and six-man James Harden, Serge Ibaka in the crew. Oklahoma City Thunder handled them in game one. They gentlemen sweep them the rest of the way, winning Dwayne Wade's second NBA title with the Miami Heat, LeBron James' first NBA title. You look at the last couple of matchups when he was with the Miami Heat. They went against the San Antonio Spurs. They went back-to-back. They defeated the San Antonio Spurs in 7 games. A lot of people feel like Ray Allen saved their bacon in Game 6 with that corner 3 to force a Game 7. If you look at the matchups of LeBron James, and then I'm gonna keep going here. If you look at all the matchups that LeBron James in the NBA Finals, this is his 10th NBA Finals appearance, with 3 different teams. I can honestly say the one matchup that he had that I felt that he was favored to win was the Oklahoma City Thunder team. Yes, they were very talented, but they were very young. I mean, these were Kevin Durant was a baby. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden was all under the age. I believe all of them was under the age of 25. They was a really, really, really young team when they played the Miami Heat. So I expected the Miami Heat, and then what they came off of last year, being humbled against the Dallas Mavericks the previous year, I expected them to beat them and handle business against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, you look at the rest of his matchups that he's been in the NBA Finals, his second stint in Cleveland, he played the Golden State Warriors. We all know what happened in that series. Kevin Love goes down in the before the finals with a hand injury. Kyrie Irving hurts his knee in game one of the finals, so he was missing two of his all-stars. A lot of people still gave him a pass on that situation, and I can understand that. You're losing two all-stars in the postseason and then one in the finals. You know what I'm saying? And you're going up against a juggernaut in the Golden State Warriors with Clay, Steph, and Draymond. And that bench with Harrison Barnes, Iguodala, and the crew, Livingston, man, I mean, that was going to be a tough order. But that was still impressive to push from the 6 games. So I understand why he did not get it done. But I still feel like they still had a chance to, because they was up 2-1 in that series. A lot of people forget that. They was up 2-1 in that series. But I feel like they didn't do a good job of having LeBron James play off the ball a little bit to give him some energy. His usage rates was awfully high in that series. I mean, he had the ball in his hand, I feel like every damn possession in that series. You look at the last couple of finals appearances he had was with Golden State. The 3-1 series come from behind against the 73-win Golden State Warriors. They came back. They won 3 straight controversially, with the whole Draymond situation, him getting suspended in Game 5, which, and then also, the big boy that went down, Andrew Bogut went down in the series. It really changed the momentum of the series, and they came back. Got to give the Cleveland Cavaliers credit. They came back. First team in NBA history come back 3-1 in the NBA Finals, pulled it off. 73 wins, cool. They were not favored to beat that team. The last 2 times Kevin Durant comes on board to join a 73-win team, swept them in 4, the next one in 5. Now, to this one, he goes to the Los Angeles Lakers. First season, doesn't reach the playoffs. They acquire Anthony Davis, make some other pieces, get some other veterans. Now they back in the NBA Finals, number 1 seed in the NBA Finals. Now, before the season started, the Los Angeles Lakers were, I believe they were top 2 or top 3 best odds of winning the championship. I believe it was the Los Angeles Clippers, the Lakers, and the Milwaukee Bucks. Now their counterpart that's in the finals, the Miami Heat, I believe before the season started, they were 10th or 11th best odds of winning the championship. So close to the middle of the pack. This is a surprise team that is going to the NBA Finals. Jimmy Butler got there in the all season after getting traded to Philly, previously in Minnesota. Original team was with the Chicago Bulls. Tough, gritty, hard-nosed, two-way player. They've made some good moves, drafting Tyler Hero. Bam Adebayo has really developed his game into an all-star caliber player. They got some veteran leadership with Haslam, Iguodala, Duncan Robinson, the three-point specialist, James Crowder, tough, gritty-nosed player. But we got to keep them in perspective. Yes, they're a surprise team. They made a really great run in this bubble. But let's just keep it 100. The Los Angeles, I'm really interested in seeing the odds on this series. I know they're going to be a heavy favorite. They should be a heavy favorite to beat this Miami Heat team. They should be a heavy favorite to beat this team. Casimir Baker, what's good? What's up? What's up? They should be a huge favorite to beat this Miami Heat team. You know what I'm saying? To me, there's no excuse. When you look at the Los Angeles Lakers, they've gotten the right matchups in this postseason. The first round, they went up against the Portland Trailblazers. I thought Portland Trailblazers were going to push them a little bit more than they did. They only pushed it. Only went to 5 games in that series, gentleman's sweep. I feel like maybe a lot of it had to do with them being fatigued because they had to play a lot of key guys like Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, them guys heavy minutes the last six or seven, 8 games just to get into the playoffs. And then when you look at the schedule, it's not the normal schedule like the other playoff series in the past where they have 3 nights off in between games. These guys are playing every other game. So when you got a matchup where this team was fighting to get in and they were playing, a lot of their key guys were playing heavy minutes. And then Damian Lillard got injured. So they handled them. They did what they're supposed to do. They handled this team. The second round, excuse me. When y'all step on in here, make sure y'all smash that like button. Don't be disrespectful. Don't just come in the door and don't ring the doorbell. You smash that like button when you come in here, man. Pay respect. Their second matchup in the series, they won in 5. So they've had plenty of rest and opportunity to not play a bunch of games lingering into the series. And it was good for them because they're an older team. Andy Bolden, salute, homie, salute. They're an older team. A lot of their guys that's been in the league. It's not just LeBron that's up there in age. You got Rondo, who's an older player. Dwight Howard, who's an older player. They got some guys that's been in the league a long time. So them taking care of business, them winning these series in 5 games or less, is really paying dividends and it's helping them in the long run to get to this point. Because I feel like if they had to play 6, 7 game series, they might not would have gotten to this point. Because when you look at LeBron James, yes, he's still a great player at 35 years of age, was in the top 2 in MVP this year, but you were really starting to see, and you started to see in this bubble when they had to play every other game, you really start seeing the fatigue of LeBron James. LeBron James, when I watch him play, he's good in spurts. He can't dominate a game. Now, I know he had 38 points in a 38-point triple-double to close out the Denver Nuggets in 5 last night. But he hasn't had a lot of games where he's putting together solid quarters in a row stringlessly where he's putting his fingerprints on the games. People look at the numbers all the time. Numbers can be very deceiving. It can be very deceiving when you look at his box score. You gotta pay attention. You gotta watch the games and how he's playing. Yes, he might have a game where he puts up 25 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, but shit, 15 of his points, 20 of his points are coming in the first 2.5 quarters. They're not. He cannot consistently dominate the game like he used to, and you're really starting to see it. That's why Anthony Davis has really, really, really been important to the Los Angeles Lakers. He's been very, very key, and them getting to where they've gotten to. And I feel like for them to win this series, Anthony Davis is gonna have to be the MVP of the finals. He's gonna really have to put his imprint on this finals against the Miami Heat. And then you get to the conference finals against the Denver Nuggets. This team, they already played 14 games before they even though they're a young team and they got fresh legs, but they still play 14 at the end of the day. They still play 14 games to get to the conference finals, and you're playing pretty much every other night. That's a toll taxing on the body. So the Los Angeles Lakers have really had a good luck of the draw when it comes to their matchups. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people was expecting the Los Angeles Clippers, but Los Angeles Clippers, they wet the bed against the Denver Nuggets, blew that 3-1 series lead. They ain't got nobody to blame but themselves while they going fishing. But looking at this matchup with the Miami Heat, this is a very interesting matchup. Very, very interesting, man. This is, you know what I'm saying, a very surprise pick. A lot of people did not expect this team to make it this far, you know. A lot of people had Milwaukee Bucks getting to it. Maybe Toronto, maybe repeating, possibly Boston. No one expected this team to get to the finals. And in my opinion, if Miami Heat beats the Los Angeles Lakers, this is a huge upset. I know the media is going to try to downplay if that occurs. It's a big if. If that occurs, but it is a huge upset. Yes, this team is a fifth seed. No team in NBA history that has been a fifth seed has won the NBA Finals. No fifth seed, no seventh seed, or no eighth seed has ever won the NBA title. The lowest seed to ever win the NBA title was the 1995 Houston Rockets, beating the Shaq and Penny Hardaway Orlando Magic in a sweep. There's been no other team. A lot of people talk about the 2004 Detroit Pistons upsetting the Los Angeles Lakers. On paper, yes, you can say that's an upset, but both of those teams were two seeds. When you look at seedings, we not don't go off based off of which team is more popular or who got more stars. Look at the seeding. Yes, they had Shaq and Kobe, and they added Gary Payton and Carmelo. Both of those guys were past their primes. And you had a well-oiled machine like Detroit Pistons. No, they didn't have a quote-unquote a superstar MVP caliber player, but they had camaraderie, chemistry. They had a great coach in Larry Brown. Excellent defensive team. Played together. Looking back on it, at that time, you can say it was a huge upset because of the Lakers, what they did in previous seasons, winning 3 championships in 4 seasons, and the last team to three-peat still in the NBA. But when you look at that particular season, and that team, that 03-04 Lakers team had problems. Yes, they won a lot of regular season games, but they remember the whole scandal with Kobe Bryant. That team wasn't that team was not together like that. It was rumblings with Shaq on the leave, this and that. It was a whole lot of issues going on behind the scenes with the Los Angeles Lakers. Max's royalty salute. Back on the TV, it's a lot of pressure on the Lakers to win this game. Facts. It is. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm telling you, if the Miami Heat, why should I tell y'all if this happens, if Miami Heat pulls this shit off and wins the NBA championship, watch how the media is gonna downplay this shit. They're gonna sit there and make excuses and sit there and say, "Oh nah, man, it ain't like that, man. There wasn't no home court advantage, this and that. Oh, they're in a bubble. It's not normal circumstances." Da, da, da. I'm telling y'all, man, it's gonna be a lot of excuses why if the Lakers don't win the NBA championship this year. It's gonna be a lot of fucking excuses. A lot of fucking excuses. To me, and there is none for the Lakers. There is no excuses why they should lose to the fifth seed Miami Heat in the NBA Finals. No, there's no reason. They in this team Miami Heat, they don't have. I can't look at the whole roster, but I know only two players, if my memory serves me correctly, that has final experience. That is Udonis Haslem, who don't really get no burn, and Andre Iguodala. I'm talking about none of their really key guys. None of these guys have any final experience, let alone deep playoff experience like that. Other than Jimmy Butler, that when he played with Chicago Bulls, that was a long time ago. Tyler Hero, he has no playoff. He's a rookie. He has no finals experience. Bam Adebayo, they're really good players, but they're not. They don't have the finals experience. Derek Timlin said, Udonis. Oh, okay, true. All right, he's tired. Well, I seen him on the sideline. I thought he was still, on the roster because I seen him on the sideline and shit. But yeah, you look at that roster, they don't have a lot of final experience other than Andre Iguodala, and he's not. I mean, he's a serviceable player, good, strong veteran player who can still play excellent defense. He's still not the player that he was in Golden State, or damn sure he ain't the same player in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of their key young guys, this is brand new to them now. This series can help them because they're not in that normal NBA final stage where it's the bright lights, the crowd, they got to travel back to Miami, back to LA. They don't got to deal with all that. They're in a bubble. They're in Orlando every other night or every 2 nights, or however the shit's gonna work out. I don't know how the schedule is gonna be in the finals, but it's not gonna be that same type of, finals where it normally is, where it's a 2-3-2 format. They don't have to worry about that shit. Now that could be to their advantage. So I will give the Miami Heat that. But at the same time, the Los Angeles Lakers, they have no business losing to the Miami Heat. And even you look back at the Miami Heat versus the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. Okay, a lot of people consider that an upset. That was still two seeds playing against each other. Remember, the Indiana Pacers had a better record that year, I believe. I think it was the Indiana Pacers. This is a 1 versus 5. So everybody keeps talking about the LeBron super fanboys, and I'm a LeBron fan, but you know what I'm saying, I can be objective at the same time. LeBron James, guess he's had matches where his teams were not the favorite, but at the same time, I still feel like they was good enough to win some of those series because of the reputation of LeBron James and him, quote unquote, being the best player in the game, of the league, being a 4-time league MVP. You would think that his teams would be good enough to be competitive in some of the series that he has been in the past in his career. He's had a couple sweeps on his resume. But if he loses to the Miami Heat, I don't know how people can make this argument that he's the greatest player of all time. You I I don't see how people can say that. He has to win this finals. I mean, I feel like even if they win this finals, I don't think, because still being what his record, if they win this finals, LeBron James will have 4 NBA championships, but you still have 6 NBA finals losses on your resume. That's still better than 3-7. But at the same time, you can't lose this. You can't. Okay. The Bulls. Derek says Bulls were number 1 seed that year. Okay. You say you don't see them losing to the Heat. You got them winning 4 or 6, Derek.
4 or 6, Derek Timlin. What's up? You got four, you got him in 4 or 6. I got. I mean, I'm gonna do. I ain't gonna tell y'all guys my breakdown of how many games the series gonna go. I'll say that probably tomorrow or when the game one, the day of the game one starts. I'll give y'all my prediction of how many games the series is gonna go. But I do have the Lakers winning the NBA title. They're playing a team that's won 44 games in the regular season. You see it going 5 max. Okay. You guys see it going 5 max. Okay, okay. That's interesting. Five max. But I will say this: in order the Miami Heat to have any chance to win this series, Jimmy Butler's gonna have to play more consistent, and they're gonna have to have number of guys being double figures, and they're also gonna have to win the rebounding battle, which is gonna be a tall, difficult task because you're gonna have Dwight Howard, you're gonna have McGee, and you're gonna have Davis on them boards. So Bam Adebayo is gonna have he's gonna have his hand full on the inside against the Los Angeles Lakers. And it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of adjustments each team is gonna make in the series. And LeBron and Rondo, yeah. But LeBron is gonna have to. LeBron is gonna have to at least put up his regular season numbers up for them to win the series, which I think which I still think he's capable of doing. If he can do that, they play sound defense, make it a tough, gritty game. Don't let Miami Heat get out on the break. I expect the Lakers to win this. I expect them to win this series. But like I said, if not, uh-uh. Max Roach said Tyler Hero and Jay Crowder has to be key to win the champ. They do. And they're gonna have to Miami Heat's gonna have to rotate a lot of different bodies on LeBron, wear him out, put Iggy on him and stretches when he comes off the bench. Excuse me, Jay Crowder, Jimmy Butler. Put a number of different guys on him and wear him down in the series. And I think it'd be best for the Miami Heat because the Miami Heat is the younger team for them to try to make this an up and down tempo game in the series. I think if this is a half court game, I think it's going to favor the Los Angeles Lakers in this series. So that's what I said. If the Lakers, they can keep them from getting out on that break where they can push the ball up the floor, get easy baskets, or even kick it out for transition threes. Contain Tyler Hero. I think Tyler Hero is going to be the X factor uh, in this series. I do. I think he's going to be the X factor in this series. Because if he can keep shooting the way he's been shooting this postseason, because that's going to open up everything up for Bam. Now let me ask y'all this question. If the Miami Heat do pull off the upset and beat the Los Angeles Lakers, Where will that rank as far as NBA Finals upsets? Is that top three? Is it number one? Top five? Where do y'all rank that as finals upsets in NBA history? Let me know what y'all think. I'm interested in hearing what y'all guys say about this. Derek Timber said number one. Maximus Royalty said number two. Now, who says number two? Who you got as number one? Who do you have? The person that just wrote in the comment section who says number two. If you says that's the number two, what upset in the finals is number one to you? Sir Charles says Lakers got upset by Kevin Garnett back years ago. You talking about the Lakers? The Lakers got upset by the Kevin Garnett Boston Celtics. I wouldn't. If you're talking about that team, the big that I wouldn't consider that an upset. I wouldn't consider that an upset. If you're talking about that series, the Boston Celtics versus the Lakers, when KG and Ray Allen, that's not a no, 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 that's not. Nah, man, that's not an upset, man. You got the Detroit Pit. I see. All right. Detroit Pistons that year, 2003. They won 54 games that year. The Lakers that same season, I think. Hold up. Someone in the comment section look up how many games the Lakers won. How many games the Lakers won in the 2003 season? I know if they had more, it ain't no more than one or two games they won more than the Detroit Pistons that year. Because I do believe the Minnesota Timberwolves were the number one seed in 2003. So people talk about that, and I was a prisoner of it. I was a kid when that series happened. But looking back on it now and how everything transpired during that season and everything like that, and what the Lakers did in the previous seasons, and there weren't no quote unquote huge names, it's not as big of an upset as people make it out to be, in my opinion, looking back on it now. They won 58 games. Okay, so they only won four. Okay, they only won 4 games more. They only won 4 games more than that Detroit Pistons team. Lakers this year won 52 games. Miami Heat won 44 games. You say 50, it's 56? Okay, 2 games. Like I said, it was 2 games. They won 2 more games in the regular season. Like, how huge of an upset really is it? Like, honestly. And then you look at that year. How many All-Stars there were with the Detroit Pistons? 3, 4 All-Stars? So, like, they weren't household names. Chauncey Billups, Richard Hamilton, who was an excellent player before he got with the Detroit Pistons with the Washington Wizards. They traded in that same season, that off season, not the off season, excuse me, but they traded during the middle of the season to get Rasheed Wallace from the Portland Trailblazers, who was an All-Star player at the time. So I mean, they had Tayshaun Prince coming off the bench. That's what I'm saying, man. Like everybody, in the Lakers that year, they were really that 03 team. Yes, they had an excellent starting five. They had an excellent starting five, but They didn't have no bench like that. They did not have a really good bench that year. It was very top heavy. Very top heavy team. I mean the Lakers I to give them credit this year, I thought when the bubble started, I thought they was gonna miss Avery Bradley and his defensive presence, where he can pressure 94 feet up the court and shit like that. But they're doing just fine. They still got Rondo. Rondo's playing big in the postseason like he always does. He plays better in the postseason than he do in the regular season. Dwight Howard's giving them excellent minutes. McGee's giving them excellent minutes. They got some guys coming off the bench that can contribute. You said Karl Malone was averaging about 12 off the bench. Yeah, like when you look back on it, and then if you look at another upset that people talk about, it was the Miami Heat. You can, like I said, you can say it's an upset because you look at a lot of people looking at like a lot of people mention those two series, the Lakers in 2003 and in the 2010. People looking at the star power of the teams. They're looking at names. I think that's another thing people get caught up in NBA and when they talk about upsets and stuff like that is take away the names, the names that the teams have, and look at the teams, the individual teams and how they're playing and how they're doing in the seasons. Then you can legitimately rank those teams. So okay, this is a really huge upset. This one's a small upset. I wouldn't say the Miami Heat versus the Dallas Mavericks was a huge upset. It was a semi-upset because of you had LeBron James at the peak of his powers, 25 in his prime. You had Dwayne Wade, who was still much quite in his prime, even though he had some injury-plagued seasons before that. You had an all-star, perennial all-star in Chris Bosh. But you got to remember, and they had a bunch of other guys like Shane Battier and other guys that was on that team. But you got to remember that those guys just came together. That team wasn't together for 2, 3, 4 seasons. This team was thrown in by a free agency and expecting it to just gel in 1 year. I mean, that's not reasonable. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Now it's more pressure because you're seeing more and more teams starting to do that. The Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat, those were trend-setting teams during the early part of the last decade, and previously that started forming quote-unquote super teams together doing free agency and trades and expecting to hit it off in 1 year and win the title. Boston was really the only team that has done it. The Clippers ain't do it. I wouldn't even really count the Warriors because the Warriors, they already won without Kevin Durant. But if you want to put that in the situation, okay, cool. Yeah, they're a super team. They won in the first year with Kevin Durant joining the club. But for the most part, when you look at a lot of teams in the past in NBA history, it's very rare that you got a teams that form together and make a lot of changes to their roster, expecting to win the title in one season. You don't see it that much. It takes time to gel as a team. I know why people consider that a huge upset. You know what I'm saying? And you look at, they had Dirk Nowitzki, they had Jason Terry, who was a very solid player coming off the bench. You had Jason Kidd, who was an older player but still can run the point and can still be a good leader. as far as galvanizing the team. Jason Kidd was one of the excellent leaders in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Chandler. So they didn't have the huge name power. That's why people consider that a huge. When you look at them, they won just as many games in the regular season as the Miami Heat did in that very first year. Let's keep it 100. The people that's in this live, is in this chat. How many people picked the before the season started? I ain't talking about before the bubble, before they announced they was going to do this bubble playoff thing. I'm talking about before the first game of the regular season started. How many people thought that the Miami Heat was going to the NBA Finals? And keep it all the way 100. How many people actually thought they was going to go to the finals this year? Who did you have going to the finals before the season started? And be honest with yourself. Yeah, I didn't see it happen for Miami. Okay, exactly. ABC XYZ091284 says Bucks. You had the Bucks, Celtics, Heat. Tyo Jan, salute, fan, salute. How many? Like I said, how many? You had Sir Charles said the Raptors. I had the Boston. I had Boston and the Lakers before the season started. Okay, you had before the season started. That's what I'm saying. Nobody had this team on the radar. The only person I know, honestly, that had the Miami Heat on the radar was my boy, Say Less, aka DCB, who's a Miami Heat fan. He's the only person, and he's in our text group. He's the only person that said, "Man, I think the Miami Heat can go all the way. I don't see any dangerous team in the Eastern Conference, including Milwaukee Bucks." He's the only guy. He's the only guy that I know that picked them or had them competing for the NBA championship. I guarantee y'all, most of these people didn't even think they were even didn't even think they was gonna get to the conference finals, let alone the finals. So let's go back. Let's go back to okay. Who's in person that's in the chat that said the Detroit Pistons. Maximus Royalty. Okay, you said that's the number one upset. Okay, before that season started. Okay, no, no. Okay, before the season started, the Detroit Pistons, and you saw the way how the Pistons was playing. Were you Are you more surprised that the Detroit Pistons won the finals, or are you more surprised that the Heat got to the finals this year? Which one is more surprising to you? Because I guarantee you the Detroit Pistons were a higher odds before the season started than the Miami Heat this year. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're more surprised that the Heat went to the finals than the Detroit Pistons were that year. Detroit won 54 games that year. Miami Heat won 44 games this year. That's a 10-game difference. And I believe they were one or number two seed that year when they went to the finals. So in closing, y'all make sure y'all smash that like button after this stream over. If y'all want to donate to the channel, my cash app is $Winners Train 93. That is $Winners Train 93. That is my cash app. I'm gonna also put my link to my PayPal in the description box if y'all like to donate to the channel as well. I'm gonna do a lot of finals coverage. You know what I'm saying? A lot of live streams. So y'all make sure y'all tuned in. I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna try to go live every night after the NBA finals. I say that just for this. You know what I'm saying? I don't like doing a lot of lives and shit during the regular season and shit. Like I mainly I do NBA videos, but I like doing like live streams during the playoffs, especially during the finals. You know what I'm saying? That's when it's really popping and cracking to me. You know what I'm saying? It's 82 games and shit like that. So these little games in the regular season, that ain't really shit though. Postseason where legends are made. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Hey, there. I don't know when the finals kick off, but I'll definitely let you know when they kick off. I'm pretty sure. Today's Sunday. I'm gonna say based off the scheduling. This was midnight now. The 28th. I'm gonna probably say the finals will probably start on Tuesday night. I'm thinking. I'm not sure yet, but that's all I gotta say, folks. Smash the like button. Y'all share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed to the channel, man. If you like to donate, like I said, Cash App is Winners Train 93. My PayPal be in the description box as well. Black Reality TV. Shout out to the LDBC, the Lions Den basketball community. I'll holla. Deuces.